Hi everybody, welcome back to Rise Up to Transform with Coach Beth. Today I want to talk to you about tone, and specifically tone of the written word. So like a text or an email versus speaking with someone, hearing their voice and having a conversation. I want to give you an example. Let's say you and a friend of yours plan to go to a party and your friend didn't show up and you were worried. So you sent a text. Why didn't you go to the party? That's the sentence. Why didn't you go to the party? That's what you texted. So it gets to your friend, and your friend has a couple ways that she can interpret that. She could interpret it the way you intended, that you were worried about her. Or if she is already feeling guilty for not going, or she's judging herself for not going to the party, she could interpret that in the wrong way. And she could interpret that as you accusing her. So instead of being worried, like, why didn't you go to the party? She could read it like, why didn't you go to the party? That kind of an attitude, right? So depending on how she interprets it is going to depend on what the response is. And this is where I want to talk about what happens next. So let's say she comes back thinking that you were accusing her, and she comes back with an attitude, or what you interpret as an attitude. See, that's the thing. Our interpretation of the written word is our interpretation. We can't determine tone from words that are written. There's completely different ways to say it. And you can say to someone, oh, that's really cool. Or you can say, oh, that's really cool. See the difference? It's the same exact sentence, but the way it's said is the tone of it is going to affect how you respond. So when we're reading words, our brain is interpreting it. So our issues are going to come into play. And that's a problem. That can be a problem. It can cause a problem. And the way to avoid that and to stop it before it gets too bad is to pick up the phone and have a conversation. So if she sends a text back, what do you mean, why didn't I go to a party? I wasn't feeling well. And you interpret that as her being angry, get on the phone. Call her, have a conversation. Hey, I just want to clear this. I was just checking on you to make sure you're okay. And then you sent that text and I interpreted it as you being angry, and that kind of, hurt my feelings. So what's going on? That's going to alleviate the issue. You're going to talk it out right then and there. But you've got to be willing to get on the phone and have the conversation as soon as you see that there's an issue. And you have to it takes awareness. It takes awareness because you can get triggered. And once you become activated, sometimes you just react. So it's about being aware. All right, wait a minute. This is going down a road that I did not intend. Let me have a conversation and clear the air. And having that conversation is going to do it. You just keep going back and forth through text. Then you're just relying on someone else being able to interpret what you mean, instead of you just explaining it. So it's kind of like, and I know some people are afraid of confrontation and they're uncomfortable with it, but that's an invitation to work on that issue if you're afraid of confrontation, because if it's a relationship worth saving, it's worth the time to put into it at the beginning. So I want you to imagine you broke something. Something broke, not huge, just a little crack. And you just take some Scotch tape and put the Scotch tape on it. Figure out that'll be fine. Well, then it breaks even more because you didn't take the time to begin it at the beginning. If you'd just taken the time, fixed it properly, then it's saving you time, energy, and everything else. A relationship is the same way. If you put the time in when there's an issue, then you're saving yourself time and energy and hurt feelings and ruining the relationship even more, and all that can be saved if you can just effectively communicate. And one of my other videos was about effective communication and the compass of communication. And you just discuss what you observed, what you thought about it, what it made you think, how it made you feel, and what you need. So, hey, I got your text back and this is what it said, and I interpreted it as you being really angry, and that kind of really bothered me. So I need you to tell me what's going on. There you go. have a conversation. Is that what you meant? Oh, no, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, okay. Then you talk it out. You have a conversation. But this is the day and age of technology, and people are hiding behind their screens, and they're not learning how to effectively communicate. And that's a big deal. This little, it sounds like, oh, you're harping on communication. This is the second video about it. But really, if you think about it, think about how many times issues arise just because there isn't communication, effective communication. It's all the time. So learning how to effectively communicate is so important. So I already gave you a tool to help you with that, and now I'm inviting you with the texting, which is absolutely fine. Go ahead and text. Just be aware that if it starts going down a hole, to pick up the phone and call. Like, hey, let's talk about this. What's going on? And then you need to learn to effectively communicate in person as well, voice to voice as well. It's kind of like when I was a teacher, and I would send an email to a parent. Number one, I never emailed when I was angry, ever, because then that's all emotion. And I would read the email multiple times out loud, to make sure that I was just stating fact and there was no emotion attached to it. So that's my invitation to you with texting. If you see that a text is coming back that you're interpreting as something that's not good, get on the phone and call and just clear it right then and there. It's going to save you a lot of time, energy, and if it's a relationship that's important to you, then it's important to work on that skill. Okay? Have a good day.